I want to file a complaint against a colleague who is trying to feed me. The current doctor helps me gain weight. However, one of my colleagues, having returned from maternity leave, began to persistently take care of me, bringing food that I can't eat. I feel uncomfortable and refused, but she continued to impose her diet and without respect for my boundaries. I'm a very small man. According to the last measurement, my height is 160 centimeters and my weight is 46 kilograms. I am well aware that my weight is unhealthy. All my life, I was small, mainly because of diseases and many allergies, and, it is worth admitting, this is a painful moment for me. I work with a doctor on weight gain, taking into account my dietary restrictions: no meat, dairy products, gluten and nuts, and, to be honest, I am now in better condition than a few months ago, and I am proud of the progress I have made. My colleague was on maternity leave and returned to work at the end of November. She is becoming more and more frank and intrusive in her care for me. Peg prepared and brought cupcakes in honor of her return, and when I thanked her, refusing with reference to gluten allergy, it was obvious how upset she was. She didn't scream or complain, but she sighed heavily and said she would put this cupcake down later in the restroom. I felt terrible. Then, she brought me a steak sandwich the next day, and the bread was gluten-free. I thanked her again and said that I brought my own lunch, which I should focus on. She replied that it would be in the fridge when I finished. As a result, in order not to upset her, I took it home and gave it to my boyfriend. The next day, she made a new attempt. She insisted. But now we were not alone in the restroom. She joked that it was rude to give up homemade food in favor of this my lunch. I took it and thanked her. My boyfriend ate it. Then she started leaving the packed snacks on my desk. She came to me with a snack or a portion of what she cooked for dinner the night before, and didn't leave me alone until I took it. I went to our boss and explained that I felt uncomfortable, and I was told that she probably had maternal feelings, and if I stopped her, it would have a negative impact on her morale. Since then, I've been recording what she leaves, when, who saw it. Since the 8th of December, she has done it 23 times. Yesterday, I took Peg aside and explained that although I am touched, I will appreciate if she stops bringing me anything else. She said that I should have said it earlier. She was just trying to help. Did I see myself in the mirror? Does my boyfriend like that I starve myself? And a lot of other things after getting out of my temper. I told her that I didn't want to share my medical history with her and that she should respect my wishes. For God's sake, we work with the hospital. Have you heard anything about medical confidentiality? That's where we parted. She's in tears, and I'm enraged as a child. Explain a few frequently raised questions. I told her no, thank you. I repeated it to her face when she gave me food. She, in turn, refused to get up from my desk or stop talking to me in the restroom or corridors until I agreed. She returned to work at the end of November, before Thanksgiving, and began to behave like this almost immediately. I waited until the 8th of December before talking to our boss, a woman, if that matters, and only after that I started counting such cases. She is no longer pregnant. I should have said that she came back from parental leave. I understand that I incorrectly referred to the medical mystery, but I referred to it in the sense that she should have known that it was better not to poke her nose into her medical history to satisfy her curiosity. Besides, I didn't think very clearly when I told her this. To be honest, I've never regretted anything so quickly. Everything exploded. Spectacular. I went to HR, saying that the issue was resolved, but I wanted the situation to be documented. I was subsequently informed that an investigation would be conducted and the incident should be confirmed by colleagues. As my statement was serious enough to guarantee potential action against Peg and some other colleagues involved in her behavior, HR started the process, apparently immediately. Since yesterday, I got into a shitstorm. This plunged the department into a state of civil war. Many agree that Peg crossed the line. Others said that I should have maintained the status quo. Some that I was ungrateful and had no right. One said that I had to deal with this mature, and who can blame her when I look like this, and I should be ashamed of myself. Another colleague offered to work from home. The third one offered me to apologize for not conceding. I went to get lunch from the fridge and found that someone threw it away and left an empty container. Almost everyone has their own opinion. People in my corner advised me not to stick out and be careful. The boss held meetings, first for me and Peg, then only for Peg. During the one with Peg, I was told to apologize for my part, and the same was said to Peg. I apologize for causing you discomfort by taking care of your health. My boss asked if I was satisfied now. I brought notes about Peg, and the boss said that no one would call it a harassment, and I need to work on myself. We discussed each of the 23 cases. She found excuses for each of them and left me with the feeling that I was the one who harassed Peg. The next meeting was even worse. As a result, the boss said, I asked you not to take revenge, but instead you found a way to exhort Peg, and your actions show that you can't cooperate with me and your team. She was also upset that instead of explaining to her that I needed help in solving the problem, I significantly aggravated the situation beyond reason, and this is cruel to someone who just wanted to help. She said that I would not make progress in life and would hardly achieve anything professionally if I could not be a team player and actively sabotage a happy workplace. She expressed the hope that I would learn a lesson from this instructive moment and understand how to behave in a joint environment. Since HR should not have been involved, because of a small misunderstanding, my boyfriend is out of my temper with rage. I'm just tired, confused, and used. HR seems to be sympathetic. The boss is very obviously on the side of Peg. The office is divided and tense. I updated my resume and job search. It's all like a nightmare. I don't feel good going to work, and it makes the situation even worse. December 8th. Peg came up with a pack of almonds. CNPLP colleague's initials was close, but not involved. I told her I can't eat them, and I don't want them, but thank you for thinking about me. I turned to the ERP, the name of the boss, immediately after. Her answer was that Peg probably has maternal feelings, and if she is stopped, it will negatively affect her morale. Peg came up after lunch about 2 o'clock and asked if I wanted coffee. No one is around. I refused. She said she got free coffee and asked me to pick it up from her hands. I said I didn't want coffee. She left the cup on my desk. I threw it away in the restroom. December 9th. Peg and SS ordered takeaway food. She ordered French fries and chicken salad, saying that she knows that you need protein and potatoes will make anyone's day more good. I refused and she said, but I bought it for you. I apologized and said that I had already eaten my lunch and that I had not asked for it. She said, you should eat more than food for rabbits. SS added that it will warm you up. I refused and said that I was more than satisfied with my lunch and did not intend to change it for anything else. SS said, come on, it's just a salad. I apologized for the brevity and added that I was happy with my lunch. Peg and SS left, taking the food with them. December 10th. 7:50 coffee. Refused. Peg insists. Refused again. She insists again. He refused again. She insists again. I took coffee just so she could leave me alone. I threw it away in the restroom. December 11th. A handful of Hershey Kisses on my desk after the meeting at 9:30. 2 packages of almonds on my table after I went to the toilet around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. December 12th. At 11 a.m. Peg put a container full of rice on the table in front of me in the restroom. CN, CC, DP, and KG were all there. She said that rice would add nutritiousness to my lunch. I replied, thank you, but I've had enough. People looked at her, but she didn't retreat, standing right in front of the table. I asked her to pick up the rice. She sighed and did it. There was silence in the restroom. I went out and returned to the workplace. December 15th. Peg came up with chips with salt and grape vinegar and coffee with soy milk as soon as she arrived around 9 a.m. DP was here, but did not participate, as did KG and EK. I said no, thank you, but I'll give you the money back. She said that the real retribution would be if I took what she gives me, without fussing. I said I didn't want it and that I never asked her for it. She replied, that's why it's a gift. Bon appetit. KG suggested that maybe I should have asked before buying coffee, and Peg replied that it would ruin the surprise. EK replied that not everyone likes surprises. Peg rolled her eyes and continued to stand, waiting for me to get a drink. When I didn't take it, she left it on my desk. I gave coffee and chips to EK when she left. December 16th. I came back from a meeting at 10:30 to a donut, croissant, and hash browns on my desk. I approached her with the package and asked if she had left it. DP was nearby. Peg replied, you're not for anything, and I said I wouldn't eat it, so let him pick it up. DP said that I should eat it, saying that I need to get fat and that I could use a couple of dozen pounds. Depressed, I returned to my desk. December 17th. In the restroom at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Peg tried to give me a cup of instant noodles POP, ramen cup as an addition to my snacks. That's what she called my lunch. I said no. She asked if it would be more likable to kill me. I answered no, but noodles can, and left. December 18, Peg tried to give me coffee at 7:40 a.m. in my cubicle cubicle, workplace behind a low partition and stood there. Although I said no, she asked why I never eat. I said that I eat, but not the food they give me. I tried to say that there is nothing personal about it. I just eat only what I brought myself. She replied it's sad, and that I need to relax. EK came up and greeted both of us, and Peg left, leaving the coffee on the table. I threw it away, in the restroom. December 21st. Peg brought a store-bought cake and left it in the restroom. At 3 o'clock she said that she noticed that I almost missed, but fortunately she left a piece for me. I said I didn't want a cake, otherwise I would have taken a piece myself. She told me that it was a cheat day POP, a day on a diet when you cannot follow it, and left the cake on my table. I took the cake to the kitchen and scored on it. December 22nd. Peg left a bag of chocolate Moment on my desk in the afternoon. I told her to pick them up. She asked who doesn't want chocolate, and I answered and she answered maybe my boyfriend will like them. I followed her to her booth and gave them back. She rolled her eyes and sighed, but didn't insist. December 23rd. Peg came up to me at 10:15 a.m. in the hall with a package of homemade cookies. I refused and thanked her, but added that I appreciated her attempts to be festive. I wished her a Merry Christmas and continued walking. Peg came up to me again in the restroom at noon. CN and PP were also here. She asked if I wanted her to leave the cookies on my table. I refused, and that I had already said that I did not want them. CN said that they were super amazing, and that Peg even took care of these gluten stuff. PP offered to take them home for the guy, so they won't have to be thrown away. I said no, thank you, and left for my workplace. After the meeting to 30, I returned to the liver with the note Merry Christmas. I threw it away in the restroom. December 28th. Peg came up to me in the restroom at noon and asked had I ever eaten anything fun. I tried to ignore her, but she was knocking on the table until I said I liked what I cook. She gave me a chocolate orange and Maloshka PUP, Pediasure, food for children who are not recruiting children well, with the words you can't be on a diet during the holidays. I threw it all away as soon as she left. December 29th. At 4:30 Peg came up to me with a couple of granola bars and tried to make me take them. I refused and said I needed to rest. She didn't move until I took the bars. December 30th. Grablock. Sucker. I said I didn't want it and Peg interrupted me, explaining that it was fermented fish with dill. I told her it was very interesting, but I still don't want her to offer me food. CN was at the same time, did not participate. The SS said wow in an incredulous tone, but did not react in any way. At 15 o'clock Peg tried to treat me to a donut and a latte. When I refused, she just put them on my desk. I gave both EK. December 31st. Peg tried to treat me to creamy fudge. She only offered chocolate candies, but she also had options with chocolate, nuts, and peanut butter. And not only did I not want to eat them, but I also did not believe that she was careful enough about cross-contamination. That's what I told her. She was offended by the fact that I called her dirty, and I explained that it has nothing to do with cleanliness, but has to do with preparation, tools, and surfaces. She sarcastically wished me a Happy New Year, and left. January 4th. The box of chocolates was left on my desk probably after I left, since they were there at 6 o'clock a.m. And I was in the office first. I left it in the restroom, as the box was sealed. January 5th. Peg came to me with a container at 8 o'clock when she came in. I said no. She replied that I need to be less clean. I told her that I appreciate her care, but I already have my lunch, so please stop. She said I could eat it for dinner and put it on my table. When I tried to return the plate to her, she raised her hands and said, "No refusals." I left it in the common refrigerator. 5:30 p.m. I talked to Peg about food when no one was around. I said that I was patient and understood that she cared, but I don't like that my refusals are ignored. as well as comments about my food and figure, and I wanted her to stop bringing me food. She said that I should have said something earlier, and I emphasized that I had done it repeatedly. She said, "I'm just trying to help, and haven't you looked in the mirror lately?" I replied that it was terribly rude. She asked, "Does the guy like that you starve yourself? Even gays prefer meat." I said that it doesn't concern her what diet I'm on and what I eat. She said, "Obviously, you can't feed yourself." I replied that she should focus on herself and her child and stop bothering me. That's the end of the conversation, and went home. My husband Ben died on August 21, 2021 due to complications of esophageal cancer. He was diagnosed in early May. We got married a couple of weeks later, just an official ceremony and a romantic dinner to mark the event. He promised me a real wedding with everything that is due after he beats cancer. I think we both understood, but despite this, we pretended and planned something for us in the future and focused on it instead of his illness. She took him very quickly. Ben's boss was first suspended from work and then fired. The same thing happened to Peg and several other employees who participated in it with her. Ben received compensation from the owner of the hospital and a public apology for how everything happened. I'm ready to put money that it happened because everything has become too serious to ignore. It spread too widely, and people talked about it. The boss's reaction those meetings, Ben's exclusion from the working email distribution group, the lack of answers to his calls and messages, refusal to meet, which was documented by automatic chops about the deletion of his messages without reading. She even appropriated his work after he sent it to the review and presented it as someone else's, and Peg's behavior sending a mass message to others in the office about a hypothetical situation with an ungrateful friend, forcing her to cook for him, but then refusing to eat it. Or group emails a few months before everything went wrong, which discussed Ben's food and the fact that he simply does not have taste, since he didn't want to take what Peg suggested. The exact wording was obscene and meant not only food. Ben's new boss kindly granted him sick leave when the time came, promising that his job would be waiting for his return. His bills were partially covered by the owner of the hospital, and something was collected by his colleagues and our friends, but there is still a large amount that needs to be paid. I received a restraining warrant from Peg after her dismissal, as she kept trying to contact us and especially harassed Ben. After all this chaos unfolded in the office, I felt not only relieved that the situation with Peg was finally over, but also deep fatigue. Dismissed colleagues and cuts left a lot of questions and created tension among the remaining employees. I understood that I needed time to digest all this. The new working environment seemed to me like a dark cloud hanging over my head. Having fulfilled my duty, I began to reconsider my attitude to life and work. Before applying for new positions, I decided to work on myself and my condition. I understood that I had to solve my internal conflicts. So I started consulting a doctor about how to improve my health and become more stable both physically and emotionally. Gradually, stepping towards the goal, I felt a slight surge of confidence. It was a time when I realized it's important to take care of yourself, first of all. Taking into account my dietary restrictions, I had to find new ways of eating that would help me gain weight. Unexpectedly, I came across a support group for people with allergies and dietary features. I found many people with similar problems in this community, and their experience helped me feel less lonely. We exchanged tips, recipes, and support. It became a completely unexpected source of inspiration. Soon after that, I decided to participate in a charity event dedicated to helping people suffering from cancer. I thought I could do something meaningful by sharing my story. During the event, I met an amazing woman who also lost her partner. Our common pain became the basis for a deep conversation related to reason, memory, and healing. These moments were a turning point for me. As it turned out, my story attracted the attention of a local journalist. He invited me to write a guest article about the importance of setting boundaries and caring for mental health after loss. I took it up with enthusiasm. When the article came out, I received a lot of feedback from people who also experienced stressful situations. This changed my idea of how I can share my experience. After some time, I found a new job in a company where diversity and inclusion are valued. It was a real find. Here I felt that my personal boundaries were respected. Every day I managed to show my strength. The charming team surrounded me with an atmosphere of support. I abandoned the idea of being normal by the standards of others and began to spend more time in the kitchen, cooking gluten-free dishes. Cooking has become my hobby, and the constant interest in nutrition has opened the door to a new hobby. Gradually, I created a blog where I shared my thoughts on nutrition and recovery after difficult periods. This platform allowed me to connect with people from different parts of the world who also went through difficulties. Each step forward helped me get to know myself better and forgive the past. Although the memory of Ben is sometimes inspired by sadness, she also became a source of motivation to continue her life. I found the strength to let go of bitterness and allow my heart to open up to new opportunities. Now I see the light at the end of the tunnel. My path was full of difficulties, but in each of these moments, I learned something invaluable about myself and what it means to really take care of your health and well-being. I found my place in the world, and this is what I have always been looking for. So, I continue on my way, full of hope and determination to move forward, no matter what.